technical issues on the part of, I guess, one of our players as well as Riot. But we are going to get back in to Game 5. This is going to be not a blind pick, as some people in the chat were asking. It's just a regular pick and ban game, and we're just going to get right into it. So Team Sigh is going to be on the blue side, and Team NYNBW is going to be on the red side. And the score, of course, is 2-2. And so no matter what, at the end of this game, we are going to have our victor. So we are going to be seeing the victor Nivea, but the Rengar ban is something a little bit new here. Going to be respecting US economy's prowess on that champion. And I like it. They do manage to steal the Orianna away from
I was mentioning that too, how you want to take away the Orianna because you see that we wanted to stress out how many champions that he can play, and you saw that he's been very effective in games 3 and 4. And with Victor and Anivia being banned now, we saw him play the Vlad to not much effect just because Vlad's early game isn't the strongest. So we're going to see what gets picked up now. The same bans remain though, except this time, I don't remember what their third ban was before, but they opted to ban Rengar now.
Was it Gnar?
There was a champion they banned after that wasn't Gnar. Hold on, let me see if I can find that right now. I think it was a game 3 ban. Let's see if I can find it right here. Let's see. That champion was... It was Rek'Sai. That was what they got replaced.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then we have Kalista Nautilus being picked right here, followed up by Tristana Hubbard. Tristana is that counter pick into the Kalista, so it works fine for her.
So we're going to be seeing the Callisto lock-in instead of the Sivir, which makes sense as well. Now that you don't have the Rengar, you're not going to be needing the speed of as much. We're going to be seeing TS Wrath lock in the Tristana, so finally departing away from the very, very low mobile hyper carries in exchange for something a little bit more bursty, a little bit more mobile.
But yeah, do you think that we could consider US Akami playing Kindred? Because he did see him have a ton of success on that carry jungle pick with Rengar, and Kindred's also not a good carry jungler.
We're going to have to see for sure. The Alistar is going to be locked in, and the Syndra lock-in without even a remote sense of hesitation from Mingu. He's going to be looking to blow kids up. Now, I'm a little concerned about this pick. Not because it's a poor lane or anything. I'm sure played properly, Syndra can just farm and be okay. It's more that you're not going to be able to burst Orianna because she has a shield, right? You're not going to be able to kill Alistar.
Shield also gives MR too, and then there's also the fact that Athene's also gives a bit of MR as well.
So Orianna's going to be fine. And then she can shield other people. So I'm going to be really curious as to how he can assassinate people, because essentially that's what he's going to be looking to do.
Maybe go for Tristana, hopefully, if she ever missteps. Or maybe just go for picks with the QE combo. Have Lee Sin being hovered over for less, but there is still the option of playing Elise if he decides to.
Lee Sin is something that we haven't seen yet. It's still a really, really strong jungler in the meta, but unfortunately, we just haven't seen it played from any of the junglers in this tournament thus far. But we are going to be seeing TS Greed lock in the Gnar top. That's also a champion that isn't, I wouldn't say not favored by the meta. He's not OP by any means, but I still think he can, as a Gnar main, I still think he can fulfill his role as a tank, as a, that frontline engage pretty well. He's just not, overpowered by any means.
And definitely when he's in his enraged form, him plus the Orianna can actually set up a lot of good team fights.
So we're going to be seeing what the response is going to be. If you wanted to just dominate the lane, you could be something in the likes of Fiora or Yasuo. If you want to farm, you You could go Malphite. Malphite is still available, but with less of a wombo combo, I doubt we're going to be seeing the Malphite. Jax is still available. Garen is still available. Darius is still available. All the Juggernauts are still available. So lots of room here for a Rumble. Okay. Is this going to be the lock-in, though?
And it is. That's an interesting pickup.
Okay.
Definitely a very powerful champion.
Gnar in a Rumble. Skill-based matchup, I would say. It doesn't really favor anyone in particular. Of course, Gnar is always going to have the range advantage. That's great, but that doesn't really make or break the lane. It's more just if Gnar misses a boomerang, Mentos can really punish it by doing Flame Spitter, a lot of Flame Spitter damage.
Whereas, I feel like the Gnar will want Hex Drinker, no?
Yeah. You rush Hex Drinker in this, and then you can also go Frozen Mallet. It's a little bit more riskier, but it's riskier in the sense that you'll die a lot quicker. But if you get Mega Gnar, it's a guaranteed kill, right? Because you're just going to consistently slow him and just stun him every single time. It just depends on how you want to play it. I would say, in terms of just complete control of the lane, the Gnar has the advantage, just because he can dictate whenever he fights or not, right? He decides to fight. Whereas Rumble, all Rumble can do is try to farm as safely as possible and then retaliate damage. But he can never start damage. You understand what I'm saying? Because like, what would the Rumble have to do? He'd have to walk up to Gnar, right? Use his harpoons and then Flame Spitter. Gnar should be able to dodge the harpoons, should be able to boomerang back, and then trade with him. And if Gnar's anywhere remotely near Mega Gnar range and he's not about to die, you should always go in for the trade, always, because you're always going to win it. You just jump crunch on top of Rumble, and then if you don't have Volt, that's fine. You just use your W stun, Q auto, and then you just walk out and you're going to win the trade. But nonetheless, we do see the completed competitions here. Lots of AP damage from the top and mid lane threats on the side of Team NYNBW. We do see the Orianna Lee Sin, so definitely some playmaking potential there on the side of Team Sigh, as well as the Tristana and the Gnar. So lots of engage. Actually, think about it. Every single champion, I mean, you're not going to engage with a Tristana, but you could if you felt really ballsy. But every champion here on the side of Team Sigh has some sort of engage mechanic, right? They can all start a fight. So definitely, I'm feeling a very skirmish-heavy game here. Lots of blood in our hands. What do you think, boys?
I'm liking it. I'm definitely liking the looks of this. It looks like we're gonna have a very fun game. I'm very curious as to who's gonna be the aggressor most of the time, though, because we do have on the from NYNWB, we got Callista with the Nutless. You can easily just hook somebody in, pick the Nutless back out, throw them back in. All the meanwhile, you drop in the Rumble ultimate, and Cinder balls are flying everywhere. It's just gonna be fun.
But yeah, it's gonna be great to see what happens, because as you see from before, though, that last game was a little bit more even in a sense. It started to snowball in NYNBW's favor towards the end, but the games have been a lot more even as the series went out.
I'm gonna be interested to see where these junglers go in the early game is going to dictate the tempo of the game, right? Because if the Lee Sin falls behind, he's going to be pretty worthless, right? I'm assuming both junglers are going to go warrior into tank. Actually, we did see US Economy go Cinder Hulk straight. So as a tank, just as a raw tank, I think Rek'Sai outscales Lee Sin in that regard. She gets more bonus armor, but assuming all that. But Lee Sin does have more outplay potential. So it's really going to be up to us to be able to use, we would have to see. We haven't really seen TS Lust on a very mechanically challenging jungler thus far. We've only seen him really on, for the most part, Nautilus, Gragas, and Elise, which isn't anything too ridiculous, I suppose. Mm. So we're going to just have to see, if he's up to snuff.
But yeah, this is it right here, the last game.
Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the delay right there. As we're going to get into loading screening onto the Rift. This is the last time I'll be announcing it. So, team on the blue side is going to be Team Sigh. In the top lane, TS Greed. In the jungle, TS Lust. Mid lane, TS Sloth. AD carry, TS Wrath. And on support, Yellow Gucci Swag.
You know, it was crazy the adaptation that we've seen because I was actually expecting this to be a 3-0 from the first 2 games.
Yeah, definitely a change. And we have Team NYNBW to thank for the possible full reverse sweep, as we have Mentos in the top lane, in the jungle, US Economy. Mid lane, Mingo carrying the team on his back with those shockwaves for sure. AD carry, I do know damage. Well, he certainly has been doing damage in the past 2 games. Gonna have to see if he can prove his name wrong otherwise. And on support, Matthew. We're going to be loading into the Rift right here, ladies and gentlemen, as we go. Game 5. This is win it or win on. This is take it all home, win it all. This is the game right here. The one game that matters most. The entire season is based off of this one match.
We're seeing a nice invade coming from NYNB on the red side.
At all.
They can get a potential pick with the Nautilus anchor if they do find it. And they have no idea this is coming too.
Oh
No. Just a nice little hi, bye, have a nice day.
It's being super casual, no big deal.
Yeah. You know, you always want to check out your date before you actually go on the date, you know?
Oh, we Facebook stalking the enemy team now?
Fucking
No, with Tinder.
Oh, Tinder. Okay.
Swipe to the left.
Hey.
So it looks like we're going to have standard lane, standard starts for the junglers.
So let's say both these junglers meet up top, right? Who wins the 2v2? Lisa and Gnar or Rumble or Xi?
I think it might actually go in the favor of the Rumble Rek'Sai because the overheat damage on Flame Spitter plus US Economy's knockup and just outburst damage should, if put on one single target, do more than Gnar and Lee Sin unless someone's already weakened off prior to. But I don't really see that coming.
I agree. The only thing that would change is if somehow TS Greed is Mega Gnar, then
it would be a different story.
then it's a different story, yeah. But assuming he's in Mini Gnar the whole time, then yeah.
I feel as though it would be more. It's more straightforward for NYNB, but more mechanically challenged for Team Sigh.
Yeah, and that's the decision you make, right? Is that you get this Gnar, you get this Lee Sin, champions that have a lot more outplay potential and require a little bit more in-depth mechanical prowess. But it's risk reward, right? You play it well, you get the reward. You pick a champion that requires high mechanics, you don't play it well, you're not gonna do well.
Yeah. See, I don't like this though. They have the Tristana. They have the Tristana, Alistar, and Elise, and they should be looking to push in the lane against NYNB, get the Alistar to roam with the Lee Sin, and possibly do an early gank in mid.
So, something just to remind everyone is that in the past 2 games, the mid lane matchup, and in the AD carry matchup, both Mingo and I Do No Damage have consistently, in fact, not even the past 2 games. The past 2 games have been more drastic, of course, but in all 4 games, they have always held a CS lead, even when their team was falling behind, which is incredible when you think about it. So I definitely would like to see, TS Wrath and TS Sloth kind of pick up on their last hitting and try their best to just accumulate as much farm as possible. TS Sloth, though, looking to get cheese.
Ooh.
Oh!
He got it.
Collide with the W. That was impressive.
Oh, but the Lee Sin will finish this off, though. Get the red buff and another auto attack secure to kill.
Still worth it. And we saw that kill from the it was the Force of Will. I didn't think the Force of Will would reach, but wow.
Yeah, right. You saw that? I was expecting it to just like barely miss.
Mingo didn't even have to burn flash, so clearly very, very comfortable on this champion. US Economy going for a gank, but this isn't gonna work. Rita's just gonna jump. Yeah, he's just
Can you flash knock up potentially? Oh, well, he was able to get the red buff.
Yeah, he has he's fine.
But the Mega Gnar actually saves him. The Mega Gnar HP.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, but he still had to waste that flash. That's very important.
His hop was bad. He needed to hop on top of a minion. Wait, Did you see what US Economy just did with the thing? He jumped from one bush to the other. You're spotted in between them, right?
I think so. Yeah, you're still seen.
Okay, that'd be broken already. But yeah, so far some weak mechanical play on the side of Team Sigh, and that might be just enough to break the camel's back. Matt still level 3 though, so not gonna get too much out of this engage.
A lot of bullying happening in the mid lane in this Syndra Orianna matchup.
And we talked about it, right? Why is TS Sloth running Ignite? You didn't even like Ignite on Mingo's Orianna, so why would TS Sloth bring it up against Syndra? Think about it, right? If he had Barrier, he would have lived, and then Mingo would have died guaranteed to TS Sloth.
Oh, he misses the Sonic Resonance and then the knockback. He's Mingo safe as they clear the pink ward.
Mentos here trying to get onto TS Greed, do the damage. TS Greed and then the nice Boomerang will proc that hyper. Third auto proc. Mentos though, he's gonna be in a world of hurt. TS Plus is gonna be up here. Mentos does have flash. Can he find the outplay potential? No, Meganar is available, so that's not gonna happen. Goodbye, friend.
Yeah, that's one of the dangers about playing Rumble. You're so immobile that when you overextend and get ganked, chances are it's either you kill both. Well, Flash got used by YOLO right there, but like I was saying, it's either you kill both of them with your insane damage, or you just die, or maybe you can just flash away.
Definitely, but we
are we have him TPing back into lane.
He's level 6, he'll be alright. But we do see that the dragon will be picked up by Team NYNBW.
You know, important thing to note though about the gank. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say important thing to know about that gank is that he didn't waste his flash, so he will be somewhat safe in case he overextends again.
Mingo's level 6. This is actually very dangerous.
Oh, this is a very early dragon right here too.
And rest in peace.
As Mingo goes for the all-in attempt, but he gets ulted in by the shockwave, pops ignite. You know, Mingo underestimating the damage that he actually deals.
So here's the thing about that, right? That was a 4-ball single ultimate. You need 5. I know. I agree with what Mingo did. It was just the mechanics.
A good play.
No, the mechanics.
One more ball.
You needed one more ball. He didn't Q before the ultimate. That's what you have to do, right? Is you Q, you land the stun, you use the force of will, you Q again, and then you ult, right? That gives you 5 or 6 balls depending on how many you had prior to.
Along with that, one thing to also take into account is that if you look at his itemization, he went for the Chalice on his first back instead of getting the Codex, which would have been 25 ability power, and then that would have been like the extra AP he needed. Also, another thing to look at too is that the Orianna has the when that happens, she has the null magic mantle, and she also gets the MR from her shield as well. So that's a roughly, I believe, 35 extra MR that she gets in total.
He also didn't have ignite. Like if he had ignite, that would have been fine.
Yeah, that too.
So he got greedy. So.
Yeah, like I say, he probably thought he did enough damage because the Orianna was pretty low after that.
That's true. So here's the deal, right? So okay, you started off great, you got the cheese, but now you're 1 and 2, right? Mingo, if I were you, you're still winning in CS, right? You've been winning in CS this entire series. You know you're gonna win in CS. Calm it down a bit, right? You don't have to be going for these dangerous plays.
Right here we have YOLO Swag getting caught out here by Matt as he goes for the 2-man pole, but it's gonna be fine.
Looks like roast beef is not on the menu yet, boys.
But yeah, one thing to note though is that in terms of the mid lane matchup, while he is good with the bullying and be able to bully even more with the blue buff, he has to be wary of the fact that TS Lust could be in the area trying to go for the gank, because Syndra is a very immobile champion, but he does have the flash right here to keep himself safe for the time being.
Like, look at this, right? Imagine if he hadn't died. The first death was fine, right? He traded his life, he got first blood, that's one thing. Here, though, imagine if he hadn't died yet, he would be up another 10, 15 CS. He'd be up an entire level over Orianna, and he would just be completely taking control of the mid lane, right? Pressuring down the turret, taking the turret down little by little by little, making sure Orianna cannot roam. And that's it. But now he's behind. Or not as, ahead as
Lust has been spotted out by a pink ward, and this might
it seems TS Lust gonna get caught out right here as he gets ulted in, and the Ignite finishes off the kill, giving over to Mingo.
And that was just a greedy play, right? You don't know where US Economy is. And even if you don't know where he is, Mingo has Ignite. You should know that, right?
Yeah, and that's when she's also a little 2D2, and even though you are Lee Sin, you're a little mobile, but you don't have any wards or a sight zone, so you can't even rely on your ward hop to even get out of the situation.
Exactly. And now you have this really big problem, right? Mingo is a double buff Sin.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's gonna be it's actually a refresh on the blue buff too, because he got the blue buff transfer before.
His ultimate should be up within the next 40 seconds, and I would not hesitate. If I was him, I would not hesitate to go aggro as soon as I have that back up. Meanwhile, in the top lane, once again, despite the early gank, Mentos still up to 10 CS over his lane opponent. We did talk about how Greed would be going for that Hex Drinker, and I agree with the build. So that will give him the survivability that he needs. Mingo, though, looking to make the outplay.
TSL's trying to get the Sonic Resonance going. He does land it. Well, this will be the instant kick as Mingo flashes away. Andylo's trying to kite us back as best as he can with the help of Matt. He potentially get the depth charge going, but the anchor gets flashed as Yolo Swag comes in as well with TS Greed coming in. But he has the flashback as well as he in a 3v1 situation. His team can't quite help him, but the red buff damage as the ult gets procced by the Hex Trigger, so he actually lives from that.
Alright, well, Hex Trigger was worth the buy. That was a little questionable. I'm not sure what Greed was attempting to...
He was fighting
He probably, honestly, I think that was a miscommunication because he probably thought his team was going to help him out there when he came in.
Fighting off the economy on the way there.
Okay. We are going to be seeing the Cinder Hook Rush from US Economy once again. As we get into the 11-minute mark, 3-2 in the favor of Team Sigh, but the gold is in the favor of NYNBW by 1,000 gold lead. We got a 15 CS lead in the top lane. We got a 15 CS lead in the mid lane. Not more like 12, but you get the idea. And we got a 25 CS lead in the bot lane. Have we discussed this yet?
That's not good.
This is the dive, and that's going to be enough damage going over to TS Slot, but it is the return kill. Tanked a little too much tower shots, and has a 1-for-1.
It's still worth it, right? You're making their mid laner even more behind, and you're just sacrificing your support. So I think it's fine.
As they actually could take the tower mid just because they have the red buff, but speaking of red buffs, we have TS Strat trying to go for the all-in because he had the help of Yolo Swag, but...
I think he shouldn't have stopped right there. If he
the Dragon's Rage gets the kick over as he flashes away, but he waits on that resonating strike as they finish off Mentos.
Mentos has to be warding his land if he's going to be pushing beyond the halfway point. That's a very dangerous thing about Rumble, is it's such an easy gank.
Now going back to that fight really quick down bot lane, I think if Raph hadn't stopped, if he had just hit no damage maybe 2 more times, he would have gotten the reset on his W, jumped again. And because then the second jump would have been a slow, but he's getting died right here as Matt is looking to tank all this damage again, but it seems Alistar is looking to finish off what was happening and kill girls over to TS Raph.
He has ultimate, so that's going to keep him alive right there. Mingo, though, doing a good job trying to get around the map. US Economy going to be spotting TS Sloth there. Sloth unable to do much.
TS Sloth's looking to make something happen here in case Kalista tries to face check there, but this is going to be the Dragon being attempted over by NYNBW. They do have the Kalista run to help secure it.
TS Lust is in the area.
But we have TS Lust and Sloth coming up on the side as the Q does land onto the side of the Dragon. As the Ren keeps getting stacked up bit by bit, and you're probably going to time the Ren with the Smite as they have the TP getting channeled by Mentos. And the Ren does secure the Dragon. Will Mentos be able to find that equalizer for his team?
Looks like they're going to opt not to fight. Which is fair. Syndra is sitting on a lot of gold right now. About 1,000, I think.
That's true, and they also respecting the fact that there's the equalizer pressure. So
back to the spot lane, right? Why are we seeing such an advantage in the favor of the Kalista? Is the matchup just swaying towards the Kalista, or was it just the mismanagement of the wave?
I think it's just because of how weak the 2v2 is on the side of the TS bot lane. We've seen this in the last matches where the TS has been consistently down in CS, but CS doesn't matter right here when you're getting all in right here, as I do no damage uses the face call to knock up Yolo, who's getting a little bit of damage. The depth charge lands onto Raph, who gets exhausted as Lee Sin comes in for the counter gank, then the lob burst damage onto Kalista and knock her out. The Ren did not even get popped as well, as Matt is looking to run away, and he does get away with his life, and that is a 2-for-0 in the favor of Team Sigh right there.
So it looked to me like he completely neglected to take into account Lee Sin's ultimate, and he just burst it down. Imagine if he had gotten the Rend off. Would he have turned it around?
No, because the Ren stacks were only on Alistar, who's the tankiest person in that 3v3 fight, especially when you consider how tanky you get. Actually, he even had to use his ultimate, so just he didn't use his ultimate or his exhaust, so the Ren wasn't even going to kill him regardless.
Yeah, it's just the reality of the situation is Tristan is actually really good against Kalista because it's guaranteed damage with the E and her range, so it's pretty easy for Tristan to fight down Kalista.
Yeah, not to mention that also when you look at the build path, this Kalista decided to rush the Hurricane, and what that basically means is that it takes you a lot of time to build up those rent stacks. You need much because before where you were usually, this is the way you typically build Kalistas, that you either go for either the Blade of Ruin King rush or the Bloodthirster rush, because you want to have some attack damage to back up the attack speed, because while Ren is an attack speed reliant ability, you want some attack damage with it as well. And with this build, it takes too much, but the Dragon's Rage into the Sonic Wave onto Syndra is also too much for her as she goes down. And this TS Lust on this Lee Sin is just having so much early game pressure. It's just doing a lot of damage. You can even see it in his build pack. He's going from Warrior into potentially a Black Cleaver next.
So definitely a lot more back and forth in this game. As I called it, it's going to be very skirmish heavy. 9-4 in the favor of Team Sigh, but once again, only a 700, 800... Now 1,000 gold lead, but still nothing insurmountable at all. I think NYNBW right now just need to choose their fights more carefully and to just, perform mechanically better overall. Now, TS Celeste here does not have Dragon Take. Mentos waiting for his equalizer. We'll finally be able to get it down, but it's just not going to be enough. Mentos.
I think one thing to mention here is that the pick and ban phase decided this game a lot, because we have Mentos gain camp because he decided to go for this immobile Rumble pick, and then you also have to take into account the fact that Orianna was taken away. It was the first pick too. It was taken away because they wanted to deny Mingo that pick, because he did see that success with it. Like if you look at the damage charts of each of those games, we're seeing an Orianna is doing 40k damage, doing the most damage on his team by far in comparison to his AD carry. We're talking 40k damage, Orianna 80 carry doing 18k damage.
Absolutely, as we're seeing right now, Team NYNBW trying to siege the mid lane turret. They need to be very careful about this though. Lee Sin does make for a pretty effective ball delivery system.
Same thing for Alistar too.
Exactly.
And
Gnar. And I
even
mean,
Tristana.
Yeah, suicide jump Tristana seems worse.
If you're feeling bossy.
I mean, if you get the perfect Sonic Wave, not Sonic Wave,
Rocket Jump?
Nah, Shockwave.
Yeah.
If you get the perfect Shockwave,
we have the ball on TS3 right now. He's about to turn Mega. It gets a slow off of it, and the slot does get Sun right there. And the Dragon's going to be up in a minute and a half, so right now it seems it's just going to be a siege attempt onto the mid lane, which they can do with the Tristana.
Especially with Meganar.
Sad thing about NYNB right now is that they are not fully grouped, so if they take this fight, it could go terribly wrong for them.
No, they absolutely should not take this fight. Even if Mentos had teleport, which did not for another 15 or so seconds.
They don't necessarily have the choice. If Lust goes in with the ball.
Right here we have the explosive charge on the tower, as it's about to potentially die in the next couple of hits, or actually in the next wave even.
This isn't that bad though. Mentos is getting top lane.
This is true, and there's also the dragon that's going to be spawning in 50 seconds, and he does have teleport up for that dragon spawn.
So that's something that I think is a lot more effective. I don't think you're in a position, if you're NYNBW, I don't think you're in a position right now to be sieging heavily turrets. I think you want to be looking for those dragon fights, those jungle fights. Somewhere that the equalizer is guaranteed to land, so that it's super easy to land and it can do its damage. Because apart from the equalizer, Mentos right now is not going to be doing a whole lot of damage, despite being a damage center advantage. The Scuttle Crab and Vision Control over the Dragon Pit is going to be in the hands of NYNBW. Dragon going to be spawning in the next 5 seconds. Looking to see how the two teams react to the spawn, how they continue to develop their ward lines, and see where the fight takes them. Mentos does have teleport. Greed does have teleport. Greed currently nowhere near Meganar, but that should change in the next few moments as Mentos trying to get a trade-off, but just cannot reach. This economy going to be tracking down Gucci Swag. And honestly, I think Syndra can keep pushing mid carefully, while Kalista and US Economy just take Dragon.
It's true, or she can potentially just stand in the bush and look to get a pick, because she does have that burst damage. And the only person on enemy team that has any type of magic resistance is the Gnar, so she's probably going to be able to 100-0 anyone that isn't Gnar or Alistar.
Absolutely true. I mean, your best case scenario, right, is to one-shot probably TS Wrath.
I think the best thing to do would probably be able to one-shot Lust, just because he also does a lot of damage in his own right as well. He gets up close, but we have the hook laying onto Slafala by the Death Charge, as the fight is going for this dragon right here. It's doing a little bit of damage to him, as Mentos is looking to potentially go for a teleport play on there, but it seems that teams are still dancing this dragon, as the Kalista is going to try to get the rent stacks on it, as the ball is on Alistar, who misses the flash headbutt, and the TP is getting channeled by Mentos behind his team as he goes in. Will the equalizer come down? Where is the red carpet? As a shockwave only hits one person, doesn't really do that much damage, as Lee Sin lands a sonic resonance onto Syndra, as his ulti goes onto him as well, and he goes down. As the fight goes on, Gnar, his mega goes for the flash onto 3 different targets. And that is a team fight win going over to team Sigh from that Gnar ultimate. It is a 4-for-1. And he literally has to take the mid tower off of that.
I barely even noticed the equalizer. Was it even remotely effective?
Well, one thing I know is that face call did not get used. Equalizer got used. I didn't see the equalizer, but it did get used.
What? Okay, hang on, because I really want to reevaluate that. So, Gucci Swag missed the engage, right? Shockwave only caught Mingu, so that's not even that big of a deal. What killed everyone? That's what I want.
The Mega Gnar, boy.
before the Mega Gnar showed
up, it was Mega Gnar, and there was also some Lee Sin damage on top of that too, with the Dragon's Rage.
The Lee Sin got on to Mingo after the Sonic Waves happened, but before he could finish her with the ultimate, Mingo flashed over the wall and he flashed after. As the team collapsed onto him, he finishes off Nutless with his ultimate before going down at the same rate. At the same time, Raph with the Hurricane was hitting multiple targets with his bomb on, I believe it was US Economy at the time. At the same point, at one point or another, Mentos has shown up, and I'm not sure what happened to his ultimate, but Greed showed up as well with Mega Gnar coming.
I think he actually doesn't do that much damage at all, or maybe even it's just too many mobile targets for it to have that much effect, because you have Kalista, Rek'Sai, you have Lust getting anchored, and he's able to manage to live still.
Okay, boys. Something I'm going to touch on right now that's very important. As a Gnar main, I love this. He picked up a Frozen Mallet, which means that at this point in time, Mentos cannot be in the same.
That is true. Yeah, he cannot solo him, so he's going to be a strong split pushing threat. And there's also one thing I want to call into question on that last fight is that the face call didn't get used, and I feel that it probably could have been something the face call could have done, like maybe just stop Lust when he went to do his Sonic Resonance. But it's very, very sad that that ability actually did not get used in that fight in some way. As TS Greed is about to hit Mega Form, looking for Mentos as a potential target. Lust lands the Q onto Mentos, but he's forced to go back away. He doesn't have any magic resist. He's careful of the damage from the Rumble.
See, this is so precarious, right? Because on the one hand, Team NYNBW wants to fight in the jungle, so easier equalizers. On the other hand, if you fight in the jungle, Team Sigh, TS Greed is just going to have a better time using that Mega Gnar. But we're going to be seeing a slight engagement. It's going to hook into TS Greed. There goes the equalizer. There goes the Alistar Unbreakable Will is going to be stopping a lot of the damage. Here comes the Farm Alarm trying to get used to coming back into the fight, but it looks like both teams decided to disengage. All in all, Alistar ult burn.
There's a stun onto TS Greed as the face call is going to get used, gets the 2-man knockup, but it seems they're not actually going to go in on that.
They have to be very careful to group up. They're afraid of the shock rate. But a lot of health bars are low. TS Greed does still have Mega Gnar, so it's something to be very cautious of.
But yeah, that is true, and there's the fact that we have the depth charge and the Syndra ulti up, but their equalizer is on cooldown at the moment, and Rumble does not have access to the teleport right now, so he is going to go back into the lane.
Yeah, definitely a lot of back and forth mishaps.
But yeah, despite everything that's been happening, one thing to look at though is that even though Team Sigh is leading in terms of the kills right now, there is the fact that the goal is still even for the most part at a 2k deficit for either teams. And then we also have to look at the CS discrepancies across the board. We have top lane being even, jungle CS going over to the US Economy, followed up by Syndra and Kalista also winning in the CS as well.
Alistar, man, he's putting the team on his back with that CS advantage.
Facing the Mountain Boys. Well, yeah, that is very interesting though. It's only a 2K deficit with just kill discrepancy of only 9 kills. This is still anyone's game right now at this stage of the game, with each team having, well, one team has a dragon, and then we have team NYNBW with 2 dragons, so the 3rd dragon for them gonna be one of their win conditions in terms of just being able to get that movement speed, followed up by the 4th dragon and a potential 5th dragon.
Antonio, let me get your input on the build of TS Wrath. BF Sword into Hurricane.
Since it's Tristana and the pushing is actually pretty strong, I think it's pretty good. You get multiple forms of her E passive that's blowing up the waves. She just pushes it constantly, and seeing how they want the fight, they want a team fight. It allows her to hit multiple targets, and including with her her AOE on the bombs. So it actually works very well.
Are you gonna be expecting? So can we expect the Infinity Edge to be second, or is it something like?
Yeah, it's gonna be an Infinity Edge next.
Definitely Infinity Edge second.
Okay. Looks like Calista gonna be going for the BF instead on that second item choice there, though. Mentos did pick up a Riley, so that's gonna be pretty nice for him because now, at the very least, he can deal continuous damage and he also applies that slow. TS Greed, though, I feel like he's playing way too hesitantly. Oh, hang on a minute, though. Lust is going to get behind Mentos.
I think the reason why is because he's just waiting for Lust not to telegraph the gank. The Sonic Resonance does miss, but I think they can just dive him at this point with just so much damage.
Now they have to be careful of the entire team collapsing on them.
There is a tower though, so they are going to be safe unless the team does go for this 4-man dive. And yeah, you just TS Greed using the stun as he gets the 3-man Gnar off for the disengage with the depth charge. Finishes off Lust as Syndra is potentially trying to go for this tower dive on the Greed. But seems the only one that would be lost. Oh wait, the anchor actually lands onto TS Greed, and we have I do no damage. With Rek'Sai using the ulti to travel across the map, looking to potentially do either a play on the mid lane or just help defend it, but the Tristana damage is real on this tower with the explosive shot. Seems like that's going to be a free tower, especially with the red buff damage onto it.
They just traded Elise in for 2 turrets of mid.
That's true, but at least they were able to get this Otter tower in response, so the gold lead is still in the 2K deficit range.
It balances out, kill for a kill and a tower for a tower.
That's true. The only difference is that one can argue that it is an advantage on the side of team side just because of how much more map pressure the tier 2 provides.
26.5 minutes, 27 now, excuse me, on the clock. 2,000 gold lead, as you guys just mentioned there. 15-6 though, kills in favor of team side.
But yeah, when it comes to this game, from what I've been seeing so far, we have to take into account that the late game scaling is on the side of team side with the Tristana and Orianna as their late game carry threats, with Syndra and Kalista more oriented towards the mid game section of things as the Dredgeline lands onto Gucci Swag, the teleport coming in from TS Greed. He's trying to build up the rage as best as he can as the fight's going on. There's a 3-man shockwave with 2 flashes being popped out, followed by Dredgeline onto TS Greed. The fight keeps going on. The rest of NYNBW is falling apart. Jungler's fighting over the Dragon. Dragon goes over to Team Sigh as Mingo shooting his best to try and kite and fight back as best as he can, but the TS Greed is just too tanky with this frozen mallet and the Banshee's Veil. So much magic resist. Mingo can't do anything. Mental's falling in response. That's a Mega Gnar. He goes down as well as Yusakami is about to follow his team along with them, and that is an ace. And this team fight went going to the side of Team Sigh as things look dire right here on the side of NYNBW as they lose a team fight. What can we say here, man, about this damage output? Look at it. There's just 2 AP threats. Gnar has Frozen Mallet, Banshee's Veil. No magic damage being dealt to him. And then we have Kalista, who needs time to bring up the Ren stacks, but the time just isn't needed in these fights just because there's so much burst happening and the fights are just very, very short.
The damage isn't even the issue. It's just that Mentos completely neglects to use his ultimate at all. He waited until everyone was dead before he used it. Then Mingu, yes, that's a fair point. He didn't use his unleashed power.
Wait, speaking of ultimates, there's actually a couple of ults still up. There's Face Collin and the depth chart is still up.
Used. Mingu's ultimate wasn't used, but to his credit, he had no targets, right? The only person he could have used it on was Gnar.
There's also the 3-man Shockwave too. That was also really good. We gotta keep in mind that some of them are actually immobile targets.
Here's the thing, right? Mentos, you have to put the ultimate, you have to put the equalizer out. You have to put it out. You can't just let the enemy team, Orianna, just quite actually walk up to you, just like stroll up to your team and be like, hey, here's a 3-man Shockwave. You can't allow that to happen. Either Fate's Call or Rumble Ultimate, because at least the slow will be enough to allow your team to escape. Something, anything. But now we have a 5,500 goldie with an inhibitor down for NYNBW. And Team Sigh looking like they are, finally back together in form, fighting very well, and they can just close this game out with a simple Baron into another inhibitor.
Ooh, that would have been a horrible idea right now.
Yep. Nice disengage though from Mingo, managing to land the E-stun.
The fade's falling.
Oh, and we're going to be getting the fight. It's a pretty decent equalizer for once, but they're all clumped up
The
together!
shockwave!
Oh my!
A 4-man shockwave followed up by all that AoE damage coming from the Tristana.
So what can we say here, man? It seems that this is actually going to be a team fight in the game going over for Team Sigh right here. They just got 2 back-to-back aces right here, as it seems that this Orianna pick was actually what they needed. As I mentioned from before, just off of their playstyle, they had Sloth playing 2 games of Lulu, and then it just seems that he just has to play these mid laners that are just really good at utility and have decent damage scaling in the mid to late game.
The game isn't over quite yet, but it may as well be. It's going to be about a 10,000 goldie by the time all of this is over. NYNBW just falling further and further behind on a composition that requires that they win fights. They don't really have any catch-up mechanics. They don't have.
I must say, I'm surprised. Did Malphite get banned? Because I was suspecting them to just pull out the same composition from Game 4 again.
Malphite was definitely up. But Malphite into Gnar is not.
Well, it can't be any better than Quinn into Malphite, right?
Well, that is true, and I do agree with you on that. There is a point that they did win with that same composition in games 3 and 4. I felt that probably would have been best for them to have gone with that, especially when Sivir has such a good matchup into Tristana too as well.
Yeah, I think what it is that with the loss of Orianna, they devalued Malphite's natural usefulness.
Even then, he's still a good champion pick. You could fill it up with something different. I mean, you could fill the Orianna pick with something different.
To be fair,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They mistakenly disvalued it.
To be fair, right now anything is better than the 0-7 normal. Oh, you gotta pick York.
And a quick Baron pickup is gonna go for Team Sigh.
And we have a last-ditch effort trying to stop this Baron, but I don't think there's anything we can do with the equalizer does come down, but it doesn't even do enough damage. Just look at it, just standing in it is not even doing anything. He has Auralize and the Haunting guys, and it's just not enough damage from this Rumble that just got behind. He can't kill anyone. Like, just look at it. Lee Sin, Hexdrinker, Gnar, Hexdrinker, Banshee's Veil. You have Athene's on the Orianna, and you have a Locket of the Iron Solari on the side of Alistar. Even the AD carry has magic. That's the third Iron Mercurial Scimitar. There is not enough magic damage that can do anything to this team right now. As TSLS tries to land the Q, well, he does, but he actually will not follow it up this time.
And things are looking really bleak on the side of Team NYNBW. Really, the only saving grace they have, it's not really much. Syndra is in a decent place. She can still do a lot of damage once she gets that staff completed, but really, they have to hope for a misplayed dive on the side of Team Sigh.
But it doesn't look like that's gonna happen now with Greed split pushing on the top side and Super Minions pushing down on the bottom side. They're playing this map really well right now.
Yes, yeah.
That's a bunch of damage going down in the mid tower right there.
Yeah, there's a Tristana Repa too. Should be able to do even more damage to it.
The next wave of minions, if they don't stop it, that's a done tower.
Well, they can't even stop because they're the Baron minions too.
At this point, I feel like Team Sigh can just kind of waddle up to that turret and take it out.
That is very true. Tristana has actually a lot of range right here, and the only thing they can really do is just try to fight right here as best as they can. They're doing whatever they can to just make sure, but look at how much damage that I don't do no damage. Just look as the tower falls down, they're having exposed inhibitor on the mid lane with the ult coming out onto TS Lust, but it has Hexdrinker, so he wasn't even die from anyways. The face call gets used. That charge onto TS Lust as Mentos trying to pull out some damage with the Flame Spitter. With there's being fights on the backline, but they just kite back as the fight keeps going on behind them with Yo Swag. That's a 2-man shockwave. Just incinerating the target as TS Greed barely has taken any damage. About the solo, I don't do no damage all on his own. The Ren gets used. Syndra's trying to fight him, but it doesn't matter because this inhibitor is going down as Mingo's a nice Alistar who falls as well. TS Soft is a little low on HP. TS Greed about to hit that Mega Gnar. I don't do no damage trying to defend his inhibitor as TS Rav is trying to run away from Mingo's Wrath.
I feel like I feel like Team Sigh should have gotten more from this. Yeah, they should at least get. Yeah, they should get at least another inhibitor.
And they did. There's the 2 inhibitor loss right there, and things are looking even more bleak for NYNBW because you're at this 10k gold deficit right now. Kalista doesn't have much late game. Syndra's late game isn't bad, but it couldn't be better considering that we have Orianna on the side of TS of the team side right here, along with Tristana and Gnar. That's the great late game skilling that they have, and they were able to win some team fights in the mid game. So I feel like this game is just going to be in the bag for Team Sigh.
All I gotta say is I told you I'd be in the finals.
Are you like Watch, where you somehow make it to Worlds in some way, shape, or form? You know, Who Tigers was Najin rejects.
Double It always ends up at Worlds, man. One way or
another.
What a god. Holy smokes. 35 minutes onto the clock, a 10,000 gold lead, solidly in command Team Sigh here. Looking to go push the top lane and get their last inhibitor. And hopefully close out the game that way. NYNBW, I'm not really seeing much of a saving grace at this point. There's really little that they can do, even with a well-placed equalizer. They would have to legitimately get a 5-man Fates Fall into a 5-man equalizer to a 5-man Syndra stuff. And even then, I don't think it would work.
I think one thing I mentioned though is that the Righteous Glory is being used with the face call, but the Banshee's Veil just saves him as the Dredge Line misses potential targets as YOLO is just tanking US economy on the backline, but he's getting kited really hard. Tristana's just critting him all. There's a 3-man Gnar ultimate as I don't do no damage, is actually doing no damage in this team fight. He's trying to stack Ren as best he can, but it's just so hard against all these targets. There's no way for him to be able to do anything with his Ren, and he wasn't even able to pop it up as a 2-man Shockwave finishes off with at least 30 spears just being stuck in the side of Lust and Greed, and there's just nothing that can be done against this team. Just look at it.
That was actually like 30 or 40 spears, but I don't think it would have been enough. This should be the game right here, though. 30 seconds on the death timer.
30-second death timers and 2 waves of super minions. It looks like it's going to be GG, and a victory over the Team Sigh with YOLO going for the headbutt pulp combo onto Mentos, keeping him busy, but it just won't be enough, and this is going to be the victory going over to Team Sigh. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Fall 2015 champions are going to be Team Sigh.
Thank you once again. Thank you.
Regis, please. Tell us about how important this victory is to you. Because clearly you're the man of the hour.
I've been wanting this since I was a little child. Since the first time I played League of Legends. But congratulations, seriously, to Team Sigh. They did a wonderful job bringing this game back at a 2-2 series. Definitely very exciting.
But yeah, I'm just looking at the damage dealt graphs all across the board. We have supports doing roughly 5k damage. We have TS Wrath with the 18k damage. TS Sloth with also